Canada's Kyle Jones nearest the screen, needing a top 8 like his countrywoman Carolyn Murray earlier today. And we'll see whether or not he's able to do that. He's had some big runs this year, but he needs to get the swim to get into the pack. Looking very quickly here as they are going out very hard. 50-plus men, and all eyes really will be on Henrik de Villiers, as he was the World Cup winner here last year. The crowd has come out for one reason, and that is to watch the very talented South African athlete. He was a little bit fatigued going into New Plymouth, he said, and he's tapered for this race. Dmitry Polinsky from Russia, the first of the Russian athletes out. In fact, the only athlete. We'll talk about that more in a few seconds, how the visa's held back. Daniel Unger right there with a great swim as he's coming through as well. Brian Fleischmann coming through that early stages. There's Moreira from Brazil just coming through. Richard Stannard, of course. Matt Reed with the cap off, so maybe he's had that cap torn off. We can see the Portuguese athletes just coming through there as well. In fact, the Russian team did not get their visas, and the only athlete that was able to get here was Dmitry Polinsky. In fact, he is the third of the scoring Russian men, and the one that is most important to keep their rankings. Right now, the Russians are in 9th place, trying to move up on the U.S., as well as Switzerland and Canada, as we come towards the end of the 1,500-meter swim, and it is the old favorite, Marco Albert, out of the water, just a few seconds back behind. The Swiss coming out right there, as you can see them coming through. Vladimir Polokopinko with a great swim as he comes out. Richard Stannard, Brian Fleischmann out right now with a big swim as well. There's Matt Reed, the cap is off, so I can recognize him coming through as he gets ready to head out. Tribot from the United States is coming through right there. Kyle Jones with a great swim, so he's going to be into that big league group as they head out. 300-meter run to the transition zone, and a very fast transition there for the Swiss as they head out. Marco Albert will be first on the bike. Vladimir Polokopinko with 23 podiums in his career, trying to see if he can add to it as well. There's Polinsky, who coming out of the water. He will be carrying a lot of pressure today with the need of a big top 5 or 6 to get himself into the race. Heads down right now, as you can see the athletes all getting into the shoes. Matt Reed up towards the front end right here is into the middle sections of this race. Nobody really appearing to want to make a breakaway with almost 45 men in and all the big runners into this group. This has the makings of a large group of men just going out for a casual bike ride, but that is Brian Fleischmann, who has broken off the front. Fleischmann, I think, has done this in the past before. He's still eligible for the U.S. Olympic Games team. You can see the pack behind him. And Brian Fleischmann right now going off the front and seeing if he can break this race open. We've had a couple men just try mini breaks, but Brian Fleischmann with a sizable gap as we look down onto the chase group of athletes who are about 20 seconds down. We'll see if any of the big names, Peter Kroos, Marco Albert perhaps. Well, there it is, Matt Reed. He is riding hard right now trying to bridge up, and in fact he's caught on to Brian Fleischmann. So we have 2 American athletes going very hard off the front. Matt Reed just made his U.S. Olympic Games team, and he is right now trying to desperately keep that spot. As we take a look back to the chase group, that's Kyle Jones right there just coming through with number 5 on his bike, but we've got all the big names. Henrik de Villiers into this group. Daniel Unger, the world champion. We have not seen him since last year's race at the World Champs, where he had that brilliant sprint finish over Javier Gomez. Taking a look at the men coming off right there. Fleischmann to the right. Matt Reed to the left, and he is much improved on the run. He just might have a big enough gap to get himself a first World Cup win. You can see the chase group just coming around the corner. It'll be about 25, maybe 26 seconds. Matt Reed out into the lead here in Richards Bay. Brian Fleischmann looking a little fatigued as he goes off, and here they come, getting ready for what will be an incredibly fast run, no question. Unger, de Villiers, there's Richard Stannard heading out very quickly as well. Fidel from France heading out into that group. Kyle Jones heading out. Brett McMahon. McMahon needs to get a top 8 here today if he wants to have a chance at the Olympics. There's Polinsky, helmet off as he goes through. Vladimir Polokopinko much further back than he would have liked to have been. Matt Hopper just heading off to start that 10-kilometer run. Well, look at, there is a lot of distance between Matt Reed and the rest of the pack. He has moved oh so well over the last 3 or 4 weeks, winning the U.S. Olympic trials, winning a big triathlon in the United States over the likes of Greg Bennett, who's going to the Olympic Games. You can see the men now heading out and back onto the port section. Fleischmann showing the fatigue right now. Polinsky really trying to take the pace as they're coming through, and there they are starting to make the move. Matt Reed, this is now just through the halfway mark. Matt Reed looks like he is about to be caught, and that is de Villiers. That is Unger into that group. Kyle Jones into that bunch as they start going in Vidal, and they are moving very, very quickly now across about a 25 to 30 second gap back to the men that are in about 6th, 7th, and 8th place, and I think that that likely is going to include Vladimir Polokopinko. It is. I can see him towards the middle of that group. Polinsky into that group as well. Burke from the Netherlands into that bunch. Richard Stannard struggling right there to try to keep up into this torrid pace. So a lot on the line as men are going after top 8s. Agostino right now about 8th or 9th. He needs to get an 8th place finish if he wants to have a chance. There's Moreira from Brazil right now just coming towards us. Peter Crow's right into that shot. And again, the huge number of young kids watching their first ever triathlon. Matt Reed continuing to hold on to the lead. This is a new improved Matt Reed who worked on his run over the winter, and it's certainly showing. But here comes Daniel Unger, the world champion from 2007. De Villiers, last year's World Cup winner. There into that group included Kyle Jones, who has to have a top 8, and he looks fantastic right now. Marquez from Portugal into that bunch. Polanski from Russia. There's Richard Standard just coming through, and Dimitri, there he's coming right now, just up into the last few hundred meters. De Villiers has made his move, a chance to win his second consecutive World Cup race here in Richards Bay. Unger just on the side. Remember that brilliant sprint that he showed Javier Gomez at the World Championships. This is going to be a big finish. Matt Reed in 3rd right now. This is the podium. It's just a matter of the color. And there goes Daniel Unger, hands swinging. They are going uphill right now. De Villiers is trying to go with Unger, and Daniel Unger, we won't see him race again until the World Cup race in Hamburg. He won't be racing at the World Championships there to defend his worlds. He'll be waiting till the Olympic Games to see Simon Whitfield and Javier Gomez. And there comes De Villiers. He made the move. 250 meters to the finish line, and De Villiers will be having the crowd on their feet. De Villiers looks like he may have taken his second World Cup race here in South Africa, and they're making the last 150-meter move, and Daniel Unger has another gear. Unbelievable. Daniel Unger onto the blue carpet. Here comes Matt Reed. We thought he was dead. He's back in second. Unger looks like he is going to steal the World Cup race. He has never won a World Cup before, a World Championship, and now his first World Cup win. Unger across the line, then Reed, then De Villiers. What an incredible men's finish.
It was my main goal in the last lap, just to come with these guys to the hill and then push as hard as I can. And I know I'm really fast in sprints. It was pretty hard the first race of the year, but I'm more than happy to finish the first place. My first victory on the World Cup circuit so far. It's amazing.
I had a lot of confidence today, and I pushed the whole race, especially the bike, and I really wanted to have a good run. And I'm really happy with my race. I couldn't finish it off, but it was a great day because I ran really well after a really hard bike.
Yes, it obviously would have been better coming first, but I had to do the pacing to catch Matt Reed. He was just amazing today on the bike, and he had really strong legs, so I was pushing to catch him to race for the win, and otherwise I wouldn't have been in there for a win. It's bad luck, didn't have the legs in the end. I didn't really know he was behind me on the end, but I gave it everything I've got, and it was just one of those races that didn't finish in the top, so I'm still happy with the 3rd place. It's my second podium, so awesome.
A great day for De Villiers, making the fans happy. Matt Reed showing he's a man to look out for, and the world champion on fire with a win here in Richards Bay. Picture of all 6, and then we'll get a word from our winning men and women before the